Hello friends, today's question comes from my private Facebook group where Larissa asks if there is some nutrition consideration if she wants to build muscle as a pre-diabetic patient or in a state of pre-diabetes. And if you have questions like this, besides writing me directly through social media, come join us in the group. That's probably the best place to discuss these things if you want a quick answer and discuss all the things related to nutrition, training, and healthy lifestyle. So my answer now to you, Larissa, is very simple. If you are in a state of prediabetes, that simply means that your body is not capable or has a limited functionality when it comes to handling blood glucose, right? So you want to be actually managing your glucose levels, glycogen stores. And the best thing you can do is to exercise and to lose weight. I mean, nothing will help you as much as losing weight in any way possible. This will improve your outcomes, right? Because you will be depleting these glycogen stores along the way with the help of exercise. So I'm really happy that you are thinking in this way, that you want to increase your muscle mass and improve your body composition and most importantly your health at this stage. As a pre-diabetic patient, you might not see as good results building muscle, but don't let that stop you. Your primary desire right now is to get into training. Don't be discouraged if you don't see much muscle gain, because also for women we are speaking about gaining about 200, maybe 250 grams a month of muscle mass, so this is also very hard to track. Rather, I would have you focus on if you are gaining strength gains, if you are feeling better, if your energy levels are better, and most importantly, how your blood glucose is. So this is from the exercise perspective, right? And I would have you probably, or what I can suggest to you is just to focus on hypertrophy protocols. This is like doing sets of 10 all the way up to 20 repetitions per exercise, and that is at the way that challenges you. So if you can do let's say 15 repetitions and that is like really gasses you out, maybe you have 1 or 2 repetitions in the reserve, that's where you want to be. So do exercises like this. It will help you to build muscle, so send that signal to your body, and at the same time it depletes some of your glycogen stores. Then focus on full body workouts and movements that are compound exercises actually. So these are like squats, pull-ups. Probably you cannot do pull-ups, but like deadlifts, when pulling movements that could be not pulling yourself up, but maybe they are assisted pull-ups with rubber bands or something like that. So you want to use multi-joint movements, these compound exercises. If you just Google compound exercises, you will find that. So this, I would also add some high intensity interval training to the mix. Maybe like 10-15 minutes at the end of your exercise session. So maybe you are training your full body 3 times a week, 2 to 3 times a week, and add some intervals, 10 to 15 minutes at the end, or in the days, or on the days in between. So that's up to you, however you prefer that. Maybe doing it also in the days in between will be better, because you will be building the habit of training or exercising, moving yourself every day. And these high intensity workouts would be like something like biking or air bike or elliptical, or probably not running, because that would means sprinting. But if you can do that, that's perfect. And that is like 30 seconds on, 60 seconds off to start with, right? So you, for 30 seconds you sprint, or go all out on bicycle or whatever equipment you use, and then 60 seconds you rest. And you repeat that for, let's say, 10 to 15 minutes. You can start at 10 minutes and gradually increase that. Depends on your fitness level, definitely. So that's from the perspective of exercise. When it comes to nutrition, what you can do, stop thinking about like low carb, high carb, whatever. Carbohydrates are not the bad. The problem is that if you have this competition in your bloodstream, so if your blood is saturated with fat and at the same time it is saturated with glucose, your body will have, in your state, problems shutting that glucose, getting rid of it from the bloodstream. That creates oxidation, and that is the problem here, right? So generally speaking, that's not a problem, but if you are in a pre-diabetic or diabetic state, I would suggest you to really think about food from the perspective of macronutrients. So avoid eating food that are high in carbohydrates and at the same time high in fat, or this mixed meal of these two macronutrients, because your body can have problem handling this. In healthy individuals, it doesn't matter. So these are usually processed food. You don't need to aim for zero fat if you have a carbohydrate rich meal, and you don't need to go like keto or carnivore even when you have some carbohydrates, or if you have like the other way, if you have high fat, you don't need to be scared of like 2 grams of carbs added, or food that contains some carbohydrates such as carrot, for example. That's like vegetables, and it also has fiber, so it slows down the release. So when it comes to carbohydrate sources, definitely aim for carbohydrate sources that are rich in fiber as well. These are your superstar legumes, and other superstars are like whole grains. And if you eat, for example, bread, check the nutrition label, and the ratio of carbohydrates to fiber should be 5 to 1 or less. So if it has like, let's say 50 grams of carbohydrates per 100 grams, it should have at least 10 grams of fiber. The more the better. So usually it can be sometimes challenging to find that kind of bread, but not necessarily. But keep in mind that if you add, for example, vegetables to that meal, you will be increasing fiber, so you don't necessarily need to obsess about that, right? Then you want to eat protein in your meals. So protein, especially in the breakfast, has a good blood sugar management, or it affects your blood sugar, in the later meals. So that's a good thing. Don't skip meals, generally speaking. Eat your meals on a constant schedule, right? So that's a big thing. And then there are some other strategies. So for example, when you have your plate, your food, you want to eat protein first and vegetables, then fats and carbohydrates last, if you have carbohydrates in that meal. But for example, if you are eating fruit and nuts, as I said before, mixing these two different macronutrient sources, so nuts are rich in fat, fruit is rich in carbohydrates, I would not mix that. I would not be scared of fat, I would not be scared of carbohydrates, but just don't mix these two things together, generally speaking, right? So just to sum it up, protein first, protein in the breakfast, which will also help you with building your muscle. Try avoiding mixed meals that are mixed fat and carbohydrates, but it doesn't mean that if you have carbohydrates, it's zero fat and vice versa. So really just be aware of that. Then fiber. And one last thing, on the days when you are not training, or even on the days when you are training, you want to be like constantly moving. So don't sit for like 4, 5, 6 hours. You know, don't be sedentary like that. Maybe put some notification on your phone, set alarm clock on your watch or whatever. If you are sitting for, let's say, 30 minutes, move for 5 minutes, just gentle walk, stretching, whatever, get yourself moving. This will really help from the perspective, it will help you lose weight, it will help you with your blood glucose management. It's a very good habit to have. It will also increase your mental energy, you will not feel as tired. So there are some suggestions from me. Remember, this is not a medical advice. Consult with your healthcare provider. If you have any questions, guys, or suggestions, post them down in the comments, reach out to me, join the group, and yeah, see you there.